So today I want to talk about things that are cheap in the Philippines. And the first thing that comes to mind is rent. You can have a nice condo in a high-rise, either in Cebu or pretty much everywhere. Starting at about 300 or so per month. And then if you step up to about 400, it'll put you into usually a really good location. And then the sky's kind of the limit, but really $300 a month, you should get something pretty good. With a pool, probably a weight room, place to walk. So 300 a month. It should get you something decent, and if you go up to 400 or so, in that 400 range, that'll get you something really nice. Now I'm talking studio. If it's a two-bedroom or something like that, it could be quite a bit more. So it just depends. But if you're a single guy, or if there's only two people, really a studio, for me, that's all I need. So that's the first thing I wanted to mention. If you're in the States, and you can't get anything for $300 a month as far as rent goes, at least not in California. About the lowest rents I've seen over there are probably about $1,500 now. So I know some of the states in the Midwest in that you're looking, a small house is going to cost you $800 per month, I think it was. I recently saw in Illinois. So it just depends where you're at. But I've yet to see anything in the U.S. that's $300 per month. So rents, it's just a huge savings. The second item that I wanted to talk about would be if you want to have your condo cleaned by a house cleaner. You can get that done. I usually pay 500 pesos. That works out to just under $10. It's 9 something, depending on the currency conversion. So it's a great, incredible price. If you were to have that done in the West, depending on where you're at in the West, it's usually going to cost you $100 or so, at least. So again, that's another thing that's just a tremendous savings, and I think it's good to take advantage of it. The next item would be having your laundry done. And you can usually get your laundry done. It's take it to the laundromat. You drop it off, you pick it up the next day usually, and it'll only run you $3 to $5. It comes back folded and washed, and you're not having to sit around waiting to do it. So for me, I love being able to do that. It's just it's a time saver. It's so cheap. To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do it myself. So it's another thing, that's just really cheap in the Philippines. And the next item I'm going to touch on would be if you decided you wanted to have a live-in maid Or if you just want to have somebody come in your place and, clean, that kind of thing too, and cook. But that will run you typically 6,000 to 10,000 pesos a month. And then you would, you need to provide them with free food and housing. And so it's an incredible deal. That works out to, could be less than $200 a month. I mean, so it's something that most people cannot afford to have in the, at least in the U.S. Very few people have a maid of any type. It's not affordable, So the difference in wages, between the U.S. and Philippines, it's like, depending on where you're located in the U.S., minimum wage is probably $15 to $17 per hour, at least in California. So, but in the Philippines, it's, I think it's just over $1 an hour, so it's just an incredible difference in cost. So that's another thing that is really, really inexpensive in the Philippines. Another thing that you will save a fortune on in the Philippines is transportation. If you use public transportation, it's really, really cheap. It's you can take the bus for, it works out to like 30 cents, really nice bus, maybe 50 cents, and that will, take you for a long ways, so you don't really need a car in the Philippines. You don't really even, at least if you're living in Cebu or, Manila, any large city, the transportation is usually pretty good. So you don't really need to have a car or a motorcycle. A lot of people do, but if you decide not to, it can really save you a lot of money. So in the U.S. and California, you don't really have that option. If you don't have a car, you're going to have to call Lyft or Uber or a taxi, and you're going to pay, I'm going to say 10 times the amount, because you can take a taxi in the Philippines for maybe, let's say it's 200 pesos, or even if it's 300 pesos, that works out to about $5 or $6. And in California, man, you can hardly get in the door of the cab for that much. So it's going to be, I'm just throwing this number out there. It's probably going to be 4 times the amount at least. So you just save a lot of money on transportation. And the other item I think that you can really save on is food. If you go into, say like the other day, I went into McDonald's for breakfast, and I was able to get their breakfast with coffee, and although anyway, it was really, really cheap. It was about $3. Yeah. So the cost of food is real. It's a whole lot less. Now, if you go to a higher end restaurant, and if you order steak, that's going to cost you more than in the U.S. or in most Western countries. It's expensive. So But in general, you know, if you eat like a local person, you are just, you know, you're going to save quite a lot of money. So